Welcome back to Voices Between. We are so glad you've decided to join us again.
It's great to be here.
This is a space we've carved out, really from now, to just pause the noise of the daily grind, step into a quiet place, and really listen.
And today we are continuing our journey through a book that I know has become a staple for many of our listeners, Our Daily Bread.
Oh, absolutely. O Pão Nosso in the original Portuguese. It's one of those books you can just open to any page and find something that really stops you in your tracks.
It does.
And for anyone new joining us today, let's just sort of set the stage. This book was written by the Spirit Emmanuel, psychographed, written through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier.
Better known as Chico Xavier.
Right. And the format is what makes it so digestible but so dense at the same time. Emmanuel takes these small, often overlooked verses from the New Testament and just expands on them.
He treats them like compressed files, He unzips them to show all the moral and psychological depth hidden inside. It's not just historical interpretation, it's a profound moral microscope for our modern, often chaotic lives.
And today we are looking at chapter 95. And the title alone, it feels like such a bold claim. It's simply called, This is the Message.
It sounds definitive, doesn't it? Like, stop scrolling, stop searching, look here.
Exactly.
And the verse he is analyzing comes from the first epistle of John, chapter 3, verse 11. This is the message you heard from the beginning. We should love one another.
I have to be honest, when I first saw that verse, my brain immediately went, okay, got it. Love one another. Next. It feels almost too basic.
It does.
We want the secret knowledge, right? We want the complex metaphysical breakdown of the spirit world, or, I don't know, how to unlock some hidden potential.
And that is the exact instinct Emmanuel is targeting here. We so often dismiss the foundational truths because they seem too simple. We're obsessed with finding new truths, complex political theories, the latest scientific breakthrough to save us.
Right.
But Emmanuel is about to pull the rug out from under that whole way of thinking. He's going to argue that we're ignoring the only foundation that actually works.
Okay, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want everyone to really hear this. As always, we are going to read the text exactly as it was written. This is a shorter chapter, but wow, every sentence packs a punch.
It really does.
So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's listen to the words of Emmanuel.
This is the message.
All over the world, we feel this tremendous anxiety to receive new messages from heaven. Dynamic forces of the mind insist on receiving modern expressions to old truths, rehearsing varied mental creations.
We notice, however, that art seeks new experiments, and it becomes filled with negative images.
We also notice that politics invents ideologies and processes that are unheard of in governing and expands the course of destructive war, and that science seeks to defer higher flights and institutes disrupting theories of well-being and harmony.
Large religious orders achieve heroic work demonstrating the eternity of life, begging for spectacular signs from the invisible kingdom to the common man.
We agree that there shall always be benefit in the elevated aspirations of the human spirit when sincerely seeking vibrations of a divine nature.
However, we must realize that if there are many substantial, constructive, illuminating messages on Earth, the greatest and most precious of all, from the origin of the planetary organization, is the one regarding fraternal solidarity in we should love one another.
This is the primary recommendation. By feeling it, each student can examine in life's daily circle of struggle the index of understanding that he already holds regarding the divine designs.
Even though this or that person has not as yet understood it, initiate the execution of the paternal advice within you.
Extend love always. Do good always. Start out by having esteem for those who do not understand you, convinced that they, much sooner, will do better for you. Okay, let's unpack this. There is such a palpable tension in this text. It starts with this almost frantic energy, this tremendous anxiety to receive new messages, and then it just pivots to something so calm and solid.
That contrast is completely intentional. Emmanuel is holding up a mirror to our society. He's describing a world that is just, desperate for novelty.
Desperate, yeah.
We think that because our problems feel modern and complex, the solutions must be modern and complex too.
It's like we're addicted to the new. He calls it modern expressions to old truths. Feels like he's describing our current information addiction. We're constantly refreshing the feed, looking for the next thing that's going to make sense of it all.
Precisely. And look at the examples he gives. They are scathing, honestly.
Yeah.
He looks at art, politics, and science.
Yeah.
The three pillars of civilization.
Right.
And he says they are losing their way because they're prioritizing novelty over the foundation.
Let's dig into that triad, because he breaks them down so specifically. The bit about art really struck me. He says art seeks new experiments but becomes filled with negative images.
This is such a profound observation on cultural vibration. In the search for novelty, art often disconnects from the divine, from the uplifting. We sometimes mistake shock value for depth. We think that if something is dark or gritty or cynical, it's more real.
Right, we confuse dark with deep.
Exactly. But from a spiritist perspective, images carry vibration. So if our art is just an experiment in negativity, it actually lowers the collective mental hygiene of the planet.
Yeah.
It reflects our chaos back at us instead of offering a ladder out of it.
And then he moves to politics. He says politics invents new ideologies but expands destructive war. I mean, that feels incredibly relevant.
Painfully so.
It's like we keep inventing new isms and new systems of government, thinking this time, this will finally fix human nature.
We think if we just tweak the algorithm of government enough, society will be perfect. But Emmanuel's pointing out that, a system built by unloving people will always result in conflict, no matter how modern the ideology is.
You can't legislate harmony.
You can't. Not if the hearts of the people are still at war.
It's the classic error, trying to fix the outside without fixing the inside. And science isn't spared either. He mentions science instituting disrupting theories of well-being. Now, is he being anti-science here?
No, not at all. Spiritism is deeply pro-science. Faith and reason must go together. But what he's critiquing is materialistic science. When science tries to solve human well-being strictly through chemistry or technology or economics, and it ignores the spiritual component, it becomes disrupting.
So it disrupts our natural harmony because it lacks that spiritual flight.
Yes.
We look for a pill or a gadget to create peace, which is just impossible.
Exactly. We are trying to engineer our way to happiness without the soul. We are deferring higher flights, which means spiritual understanding, in favor of these quick technical fixes.
So, okay, we have this landscape. Art is cynical, politics is warlike, science is materialistic. And then he turns the lens on us.
On the spiritual seekers.
Yes, and this is where it gets a little uncomfortable.
The spectacular signs.
He talks about religious orders begging for spectacular signs from the invisible kingdom. That is a direct call-out to anyone who treats spirituality like some kind of magic show.
It is the trap of phenomena versus transformation. In Spiritism, we talk a lot about mediumship, about evidence of the afterlife. And those things are real, and they're valid. But Emmanuel is warning us, do not get distracted by the fireworks.
It's so easy to do, though. We want the ghost story. We want the materialization. We want that undeniable sign from the dead that proves everything is real. If I see a miracle, then I'll believe.
But why do we want that sign? I mean, usually it's because we want a shortcut. If we see a miracle, we think it will do the work for us. We think, okay, life continues, so I'm safe. But Emmanuel says, large religious orders achieve heroic work demonstrating the eternity of life. Yet they miss the point if they're just begging for signs.
Because the greatest message isn't a ghost appearing in a seance room.
No.
The greatest message isn't a phenomenon.
No. The greatest message from the invisible kingdom is the same one that has been there since. And I love this phrase, the origin of the planetary organization.
Fraternal solidarity. We should love one another.
That is the primary recommendation. And I want to pause on that phrase, from the origin of the planetary organization. He isn't just saying love is a nice idea. He's suggesting that love is structural. It is a physical law of the universe. It's the gravity that holds the moral universe together.
Wow, that reframes everything. If love is the gravity of the soul, then trying to build a society or a life without it is like trying to build a house without respecting physics.
Precisely. We are building on sand. If we seek progress in art or politics or science without that foundation of we should love one another, we are just creating more sophisticated ways to be unhappy or destructive.
We're trying to cheat the system.
Yes. But let's play devil's advocate here, because love one another sounds great on a greeting card. But in practice, it's brutal.
It's the hardest thing in the world. It's inefficient.
It is, and that is why we avoid it. That is why we look for the new messages.
Yeah.
Because the old message, well, it requires us to change. It requires ego death.
And the text gives us a very specific, very challenging instruction on how to apply this. It says, even though this or that person has not as yet understood it, initiate the execution of the paternal advice within you.
Initiate the execution. That is active. It's almost military language. It means you are the starter motor. You cannot wait.
That's the kicker, isn't it? We usually think, I'll be nice to them if they're nice to me, or, I'll support that political group if they stop attacking my values. We wait for the world to change first.
Yeah. We treat love as a transaction. I give, you give back.
Yeah.
But Emmanuel is saying that is not how this law works. You have to be the generator. You have to start the engine. Start with you.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for the other person to understand, you might be waiting for lifetimes.
And he breaks it down even further. He says, start out by having esteem for those who do not understand you.
That word esteem, it's the pivot point of the whole chapter.
It really is. He didn't say tolerate them. He didn't say ignore them. He said have esteem for them. To me, esteem implies value. How can I value someone who is, actively making the world a worse place?
This requires the Spiritist view. If you look at a person and you only see their current personality, their anger, their bad politics, their ignorance, you can't esteem them. You can only judge them.
Right, because their actions are objectively bad.
But if you look at them as an immortal spirit, just like you, who is currently sick with ignorance, then you can have esteem for the potential within them. You value the divine design in them, even if they're currently trashing the place.
Right.
So loving them is almost like holding space for who they could become.
Yes.
Like seeing a vandal defacing a masterpiece. You hate the vandalism, but you esteem the canvas underneath.
That is a perfect analogy. And practically speaking, holding esteem creates a boundary.
A boundary. I usually think of love as letting people in, making myself vulnerable.
Well, think about it. If I hate my enemy, I am vibrating at their frequency. I am entangled with them. I'm carrying their negativity around in my head. If I hold esteem, if I wish them well from a distance and refuse to hate them, I'm detached. I'm protected.
So loving them is actually a way of keeping your own house clean.
Exactly. Love is a protection because it keeps your frequency high. When you hold esteem for an adversary, you are essentially saying, I refuse to let your darkness dim my light.
Yeah.
You're maintaining your spiritual integrity.
And there's a promise attached to this instruction. The text says, convinced that they, much sooner, will do better for you.
That is the practical outcome. It might not happen overnight. But hostility cannot survive in the face of persistent, genuine love. It eventually disarms the other person.
It wears them down.
Or it wakes them up. When you refuse to be an enemy, you force them to reevaluate why they are fighting. Your love becomes a mirror. It is much harder to attack someone who is consistently wishing you well.
So what does this all mean for us today? I mean, we are bombarded with new things. New phones, new apps, new news cycles, new anxieties. Emmanuel is telling us to stop looking for the answer out there.
He is inviting us to stop the frantic search. We feel this tremendous anxiety because we are spiritually hungry, but we're eating junk food. We're consuming novelty when we need nutrition, and the nutrition is love.
It's the difference between snacking and a meal.
Yeah.
We're snacking on modern expressions, but we are starving for fraternal solidarity.
And this brings us back to the Spiritist context of the book. We're not just talking about social niceties. We're talking about the divine designs. This is about aligning ourselves with the will of the Creator.
The text mentions examining the index of understanding that we hold. That is such a beautiful phrase.
It suggests that our capacity to love is the true measure of our spiritual progress. Not how many books we've read, not how many spirits we've communicated with, not how many political arguments we've won.
Right.
The index of understanding is how much can you love the person who doesn't understand you?
That is the test. That is the final exam. And honestly, most of us are failing that exam while trying to sign up for extra credit classes in advanced metaphysics.
Laugh softly. Precisely. We want to study the stars, but we can't even get along with our roommate. Emmanuel is gently but firmly pulling us back to earth. He's saying, do the work here, do the work now.
Extend love always. Do good always. It sounds so simple, but listening to this today, it feels like the most revolutionary thing we could possibly do.
In a world of polarization, conflict, and anxiety, love is the only true rebellion. It is the only thing that actually changes the landscape.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to turn this back to you, the listener. We have read the text, we've analyzed the themes, but now comes the hard part, the execution.
I would ask you to consider this. Where in your life are you waiting for a spectacular sign? Where are you waiting for a complex solution to a problem or for someone else to apologize first?
And is there someone in your life right now who does not understand you? Maybe a family member, a coworker, or just a group of people you see on the news.
Can you find a way, just for today, to hold esteem for them? To send a vibration of solidarity rather than judgment?
Here's a challenge for the next 24 hours. Whenever you feel that tremendous anxiety for something new or that urge to criticize the state of the world, just stop and consciously replace it with a thought of fraternal solidarity. Initiate the execution of love.
And remember, the eternity of life isn't proven by magic tricks. It's proven by the endurance of love. That is the message that is pinned from the beginning, and it is the only message that will matter in the end.
Thank you for stepping into the quiet place with us today.
It's been a privilege.
Until our next journey into the voices between. Take care.